Hey YouTube, this is Lucky from the lab, and today I'm going to bring you guys a video talking about the Titan Sunbreaker class in PvP. Now, I'm not here to bash on the class like a lot of people are doing, saying, nerf that! Nerf the Titan Sunbreaker, it's too powerful. I do agree there's parts of it that are a little too powerful, and it should be nerfed a little bit and tweaked a little bit here and there. But what I'm here to talk about is the perks I'm using when I'm using it in PvP. I recently just created a Titan. If you don't know me personally, I've always been a fan of Warlocks. I personally had 2 Warlocks and 1 Hunter just because I liked Warlocks so much that I had 2 of the same class. But recently I had to delete a Warlock and create a Titan just because this Titan Sunbreaker is terrorizing me so much in PvP. It's unbelievable. So difficult to deal with, and so I decided to delete one of my Warlocks and create a Titan. So now I'm using the Sunbreaker, and I've been using it in PvP for a few days now, and it's amazing. It's awesome. I can understand why it was destroying me so much. And so in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about the statistics of the Titan Sunbreaker, why it's so powerful, what it is about the subclass that's so powerful, the exact perks I'm using on my Titan Sunbreaker, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how it should probably be nerfed appropriately. Alright, now an interesting fact, and a lot of people know this already, of course, some of the supers have damage resistance like Blade Dancer and Sunsinger. The Titan Sunbreaker class gains a 55% damage resistance. Now what does this mean, 55%? Well, it just means that when you shoot the Titan Sunbreaker, your bullets aren't going to register the normal amount because he's going to resist those bullets. Now 55% doesn't mean anything, but if you compare it to the other subclasses, it's the exact equivalent of a Radiant Skin Warlock. And so basically what you have with the Titan Sunbreaker is a Radiant Skin Warlock. Now, the problem with being a Radiant Skin Warlock is that you can only throw grenades really effectively. You can also one-hit melee people, which is nice. But you can't really travel across the map very fast. You're limited to the Warlock jump. Titans can't blink either, but they do have the fast control jump. And if you've ever watched Gabe or the videos on how to Titan skate, you can see that the Titan subclass is actually incredibly fast. It's technically the fastest subclass in the game is the Titan. Using the control jump is actually the fastest class in the game. It's much faster than Blink, although Blink would appear to be faster because you teleport across the map. It actually isn't. The Titan subclass with the control jump is the fastest jump in the game. So now you have basically a Radiant Skin Warlock that can fly across the map faster than any other character. So now you have a very mobile Radiant Skin Warlock. Now tack onto that he has a much more ranged attack that's one hit. And so basically he has a ranged attack similar to a Golden Gun, and it's one hit, and so that's nice. So now he's got a Radiant Skin Warlock that's very fast, and he can shoot Golden Guns across the map. But the Golden Gun's problem is that if a Golden Gun misses, it hits the wall, it doesn't do any damage. And so this is different though, because now you throw the hammer, and it does have a blast radius. It can proc, it can track even. And the blast radius can blow up next to the person and still get the kill, and so it's the equivalent of basically a small Nova Bomb. And so if you add all this together, you get roughly half the supers in the game all into one character. You have basically a Radiant Skin Warlock running around with 6 Golden Gun shots that are actually Nova Bomb shots. And to make matters worse, he can also put on the perk Cauterize, which is basically the equivalent of the Blade Dancer perk Hungering Blade, in which each kill he gets with the hammer regenerates his health. And I don't really think I need to explain anymore. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys my exact subclass build that I'm using. Alright, so here we are. For my Titan Sunbreaker, like I said, I just made my Titan a few days ago, and here's the subclass perks that I'm using. First, I'm using the Incendiary Grenade. This is for PvP. This Incendiary Grenade, if it lands very close to your opponent, can one-shot them. It's really excellent to use, especially if you bounce it across walls and are tactical with it. You can do a lot of damage with this Incendiary Grenade. It's better than the Thermite Grenade, which is very in place and not as efficient for trying to get the kills. People can run away from this. And the Fusion Grenade, any grenade where you have to stick them, usually have to be facing your opponent, which is a very dangerous situation, and so I prefer to throw my grenades around corners or to throw the grenade and run, and I don't really want to get into a face-to-face encounter with an opponent and try to stick him with a Fusion Grenade, or any attachable grenade for that matter. Onto the jump. Of course I'm using Increased Control. That's the best one to use for PvP. This makes you a lot faster in PvP. It's the best one to use. There's not really any other option other than Increased Control for the Sunbreaker, or for any Titan class in PvP for that matter. On to the next one. You've got Forge Master, throw more hammers. That's awesome. Hammers cause bigger explosions. Couldn't ask for any more. You can press R1 during Hammer of Soul to hurl yourself forward. This can be effective, but it's not nearly as effective as having more hammers. You want to have that ranged attack. You want to be able to throw the hammers across the map. Scorched Earth, ignite the world, creating sunspots everywhere your Hammer of Soul impacts. I haven't actually used this yet, of course, because I haven't unlocked it, but I can tell you right now that the sunspots are incredibly effective and might be really good for trials, especially on 3 vs 3. If you're trying to, you'll get 6 hammers with Forge Master, so you may not need to throw 6 hammers, and so it might be more useful to use Scorched Earth, but you've got so much damage resistance as it is that you almost really don't need the sunspots, and you can get the overshield with this using the other perks over here. For now, I'm just using Forge Master. It works really well. You get about roughly 6 hammers, like I said. And Melting Point, for the melee, I'm using Melting Point only because I haven't unlocked Stoke of the Forge yet. This is the one I'm probably going to use when I do unlock it. But until that point, I'm using Melting Point in PvP. And on to the next one. I'm about the speed and toughness. I'd rather survive a few more shots than recover a little bit faster, and so I always want to have as much toughness as possible, and I want to have as much speed as possible so I can catch up to people if they're trying to run away from the hammer, which seems to be the common reaction is, Sunbreaker, run for the hills. So I want to have as much speed on as possible for those guys and try and catch up to them. The next one, Explosive Pyre, which is another perk that's basically similar to the Golden Gun's Combustion. They explode and does damage to others. I've seen a lot of really devastating kills in PvP with this. You can kill a group of people on a capture point or wherever they're at. Whatever they're doing, if there's a group of people piled up, this is really good, and I'm using this currently because I like it a lot, especially when people are trying to work together, and this can just take out a whole group of people in no time. Next, I've got Training Focus on all attributes. I prefer that, maybe a little over speed. I might go to raw speed when I unlock that, but for now this is good enough. And then the last one is Cauterize, which is essentially a Hungering Blade. It's really effective. You could also use the Firekeeper, which gives you that overshield like I was talking about with the sunspots. That could be really effective, especially if you also tagged on to this. You could have Thermal Vent working for you, and we have all these 3 working together, but for the most part I'm just putting on all out offensive power. I'm trying to get as much speed in there as possible and just throw the hammers. There's a lot of range you can throw the hammer. If you get good at aiming it, you can throw it all the way across the map and get kills with it. It's incredible. And so this is the subclass setup that I'm using. Alright, and the very last part I want to talk about is what is the appropriate way to nerf this subclass? What is the right way to approach it? And in my opinion, I think that the best way to approach it is to take away the damage resistance that's on this class. Golden Gun is a very effective super. You pop Golden Gun, you have 3 Golden Gun shots, 4 if you're using Acleophage Symbiote, and you can shoot the Golden Gun shots, pretty much across the map and get kills. It's very effective, very ranged super. This is similar to that, except you have damage resistance, and so I think that Sunbreaker should have either no damage resistance or at least half as much as it does right now, because the amount it has right now is just simply ridiculous. It's too difficult to handle. It takes roughly 2 shotgun shots, and often 2 shotgun shots and a melee just to take a Sunbreaker down, and if the guy can't kill you in the time it takes you to melee him and shotgun him twice, then he's obviously not very experienced and doesn't know what he's doing with the subclass, because all you have to do is just push one button and basically everything in front of you dies instantly. And so it just needs to be nerfed with the damage resistance, in my opinion. Everything else is fine. Having Cauterize is fine, having Combustion is fine. Even Forge Master is fine. He gets quite a bit. It's a little excessive, the number of hammers he can throw, but even that is fine. As long as you take down his damage resistance, he should not have as much as a Radiant Skin Warlock. It's just too much. It's by far the most powerful super in the game currently as it is, and I really hope the damage resistance gets brought down. Alright, now let me know what you guys think in the comments below. How should Sunbreaker be nerfed, or should it be nerfed at all? Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on this video, and I will answer all your comments, read all your comments, so I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good night.
Hello, Dark. Thank you for watching this Lucky and LUCKYY video. If you enjoyed this video, then give it a like. Please be sure to check out their Twitch, Twitter and Facebook too. All the links are below. If you like and follow them on Twitch, Twitter and Facebook, then your next legendary engram will turn into an exotic. Maybe. Thank you. And good night. Dance party!